You know, guys, I can see the sea now. It looks pretty flat today. It looks like we're going to have a good day out in the water.
125 miles southeast of Los Angeles lies the Salton Sea.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Located in one of the most geologically active regions in the world. 31 miles long, 9 miles wide, the Salton Sea is at the crossroads of several major fault lines. Faults are where earthquakes are engineered. These cracks sometimes appear at ground level. Some are so big they can even be seen from the air.
Guys ready?
Neil Driscoll from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography and a team of scientists are the modern-day Lewis and Clark of the Salton Sea fault lines.
So what is a fault? A fault is a rupture in the earth where plates or pieces of the earth slide by one another.
The longest fault in the U.S., the San Andreas, begins at the Salton Sea and runs 800 miles along western California. It's broken into 3 distinct fault zones: northern, central, and southern.
The San Andreas Fault is a long, complicated fault system. It's made up of a series of faults. It has jogs, it has curves, it has bends, it has segments. But there's hundreds of faults, smaller faults, that are peppered throughout the region.
Many scientists believe the southeastern San Andreas is overdue for the big one, an earthquake of magnitude 7 or more, likely to begin at the Salton Sea and travel towards Los Angeles.
I love this.
For 3 years, Driscoll and his team have been mapping the architecture of the faults in the area to find out how often earthquakes occur here and whether a future earthquake on one of the smaller faults can trigger the big one on the San Andreas.
We've just come out of the southern part of the Salton Sea. We're sitting right to the west of where the San Andreas Fault comes offshore Bombay Beach. Between the Imperial Fault to the south and the San Andreas Fault, there's a zone called the Brolly seismic zone. And this zone is very active and has many small earthquakes, what we call swarms of earthquakes. What we're trying to understand is how do these faults communicate?
The Earth's surface seems stable and solid, but it's in constant motion. As it moves, it creates millions of tremors every year. The outer rind beneath the land and oceans is cut into 12 major and dozens of minor plates. These irregularly shaped masses ride on the weaker material below. They are driven, in part, by the push and pull of gravity, and to a lesser extent, by convection currents created by heat within the Earth. The San Andreas Fault was formed by the movement of the Pacific Plate sliding against the North American Plate. In the southern segment of the fault, the plates are locked. As they attempt to slide past each other, elastic stress builds in the rocks. When the weakest part of the rock finally breaks, the 2 opposing faces of the fault suddenly slip, lurching past each other in an instant. This sends out powerful waves of energy, creating the ground shaking of an earthquake above.